Good morning, this is Donnie Fuchs of the Judean Hammer and the Stop Hayovel blog. My colleague Moshe Schwartz has recently been circulating an article I wrote back a few years back called Anatomy of a Missionary. We are enclosing a link to this article because it's an important foundational article dealing with a way to recognize missionaries beyond the immediate, naive, simplistic interpretation of missionaries as simply those street missionaries, the Jews for Jesus who hop in the street and accost you in the face. This article goes into the other tactics, the tactics of relational evangelism, and how to recognize the sneakier ones, the ones who, like Hayovel Ministry in Israel, come in the guise of friends, will even use the language of being against missionaries, have recruited religious Jews to help them. And so, within the context of that article, it's great to revisit and analyze Hayovel and see precisely that they still maintain the same connections with overt missionaries, the language they use, the ulterior motives. And just to give a brief look into this phenomenon, we need only look at Hayovel's page, their Facebook page. And if you go to their Facebook page, you see they have a store. I'm sorry, their actual website. They do have a Facebook page. If you go to their website, you'll see a store where they sell all types of cups and mugs and shirts and calendars, but they also sell propaganda material, including things such as books, Messianic books. One of them is Daily Bread. It's a Messianic one-year Bible reading journal. Now, they know that most Jews, particularly those Jews who are involved with them, don't have the honesty or the concern whether they really care about these issues or they choose to put their heads in the sand. They know they're not going to actually do what those of us who are trying to expose Hayovel do and actually go to the material. Look at what they're saying. Look at who they're greeting and meeting when they're in America on speaking tours. And look at what they're selling on their websites. And all you got to do is look and see some of these products. This is Daily Bread, a Messianic one-year Bible reading journal from Ariel Media. Now, they actually offer a digital preview, and you download it, you see precisely what they're about right there. Copyright 2012, 2018. Lars Einarsson, famous Messianic, and his Messianic son-in-law, Doron Kader, who has Cry for Zion in Israel, a Messianic organization masquerading as, a desire to fight for the right to pray on the Temple Mount. But Ariel Media is a ministry of the Watchman. So you're talking overt Christian missionaries here, all aligned and friends with Hayovel. And if you simply peruse this digital readout, you'll see this is a Messianic Bible. And they actually, in their section on the holy books, they'll go, below are the books of holy scriptures arranged according to the Jewish Messianic tradition used in Daily Bread. It is so obscene how Jews can look at us and have the chutzpah to tell us that Hayovel are not missionaries, when right on their page they're still selling Messianic literature today in 2018 after Tommy Waller last year and every few years he's doing his great tshuva every time they get caught. Tommy Waller comes, oh, we're sorry for the years of anti-Semitism. No one's talking about the anti-Semitism of Cossacks. We're not blaming you for that. You're trying to steal Jewish souls, Tommy. That's the problem. And you playing the contrite, penitent Christian. Joe, we're sorry. This is precisely why we hate you. You're the spiritual enemy. You're trying to convert Jews. And as Hanukkah draws near, we need to incorporate this understanding that there are physical enemies and spiritual enemies, and literally Hayovel is the spiritual equivalent of Fatah. Just because they're a little more intelligent and they don't always say precisely what they mean to every audience, they have the same desire as Hamas and Hezbollah. They want to slaughter us, in this case, slaughter our souls. They're selling Messianic books. You scroll down in this thing, they actually include a blessing, the Torah studies, the blessing that historically Jews do before we learn Torah. They include it. in this Messianic Bible. They're co-opting. This is because they've been helped by these so-called yeshivas for the nations, where religious Jews teach them how to act like Jews and know more about Jews. They incorporate that stuff. You go on some of these Messianic sites, and you'll actually hear Avram Friedman. Once again, this is no blame. I'm not blaming Avram Fried. They're using his music. We should get in touch with Avram Fried and let him know. This is not Avram Fried's fault. He's likely not even aware of this, and we should apprise him. But they want to reach out. They're so sick. They'll play this yeshivish kind of music from Avram Fried. You know, they're deranged. They'll literally, there is no depth they won't sink to in order to trap Jews. And so they include these Torah blessings, and then they have a blessing at the end for all believers in Messiah, where they basically they redo a Jewish holy bracha we make for the Torah, and they include the name of Yeshua the Messiah, our Master, at the end of this Hebrew bracha. They go, Al Yedei Bano Yeshua HaMashiach Adonenu. Yimach Shemam V'Zichram, these animals, and this is Hayovel, and this is being sold, and we're told by certain rabbis and so many religious Jews in the Shomron and the Gush and other places who are, oh, Hayovel are friends, they're great. They are not friends. They are Messianics. They're selling Messianic literature. You need to only read this digital preview, and we're going to enclose this link, and you'll see precisely what these snakes are, precisely what they're up to. Enough of this nonsense. If you were a righteous Gentile, even a flawed Christian who, you didn't reach the level of a B'nai Noach, but you opposed proselytizing and trying to reach out to Jews, would you ever be involved in this? Would you ever be involved with the Watchman, with a Lars Einarsson? Would you ever sell a Messianic daily planner? It's unbelievable. So it's very, if you scroll down, they go today in history, and October 14th, in this daily planner. Death of the Brahm, the Messianic pioneer Abraham Poljak. They have Zatzal, unbelievable, for this Rasha Marusha. In the year 5724, was a Ukrainian-born Orthodox Jew. I don't want to belabor the point. He basically, they write that the writings of Leo Tolstoy brought him to faith in Yeshua. And after a miraculous release from a Nazi prison, he immigrated to Israel after the war and contributed to the pioneering of the 20th century Messianic Jewish movement. So this is the Daily Planner. It's celebrating this vicious Mushumad apostate. And this is the kind of literature they're circulating. And if you click on, if you read further, you need only look at this, peruse it, and you'll see the filth that they're involved in. They support Messianism. Relational evangelism is a tactic, a sneaky tactic, where they go into the radar as friends of Israel. They are no more friends of Israel than the crude street missionary, the Jacob Damkani, Yimach Shemo V'Zichro, who comes into religious communities and accosts people in the street. The Meshumad, Jacob Damkani, Yimach Shemo V'Zichro. So we need to be aware of it. But just click on Ariel Media, and you'll see basically Ariel Media. What are they involved in? So look at some of the other titles. Messianic Yeshiva, Jews, Gentiles, and Our Original Faith. Messianic Yeshiva with Lars Einarsson, whose son-in-law, Doron Kader, is great friends with Hayovel, is involved with lots of things, has Cry for Zion. And actually, Doron Kader went on a Shomron tour with self-appointed activist David Ha'ivri from Kfar Tapuach, who, along with other people, has been so involved in bringing these evangelical missionaries to Israel under the guide of supporting Christian Friends of Israel. Doron Kader went on one of his trips to tour the Shomron. He is a missionary, and he is friends with Hayovel. The Harlot and the Bride, the Feasts of Messiah is Coming, Lars Einarsson, the Feast of Passover. You need only go The Mystery of the Messiah, again, by Lars Einarsson. Hayovel are missionaries, and any Jew who says otherwise is a liar and a fraud. We at the Judean Hammer and at Stop Hayovel, along with other people who've been involved in this fight over the years, have not stopped. There's a lot to come. We have a lot to expose, and believe me, there will be an accounting, because any Jew who's involved with these people is going to be exposed. Whether it be the vintners, whether it be the communities, the personalities, whether it be those who are giving hechsherim to the wines that are plucked and by these groups, Hayovel. This year, Be'ezrat Hashem, is going to be a year where we expose this pernicious disease affecting Am Yisrael. God willing, in the next few months, a major campaign to continue very forward and very aggressive legal steps to expose this menace are going to be put into motion. Have a wonderful day.